You say something and the dog simply walks away. Not running, but leaving with a certain dignity, as if it just decided to be somewhere else. You might wonder what you did wrong, since you did not yell or hurt them, but were simply present when they chose to depart. This is not an accident, but a clear signal that reveals much more about you than you might realize. It is important to understand that a dog does not leave because they are moody or strange. They leave because they are honest. They lack the social filters that force humans to endure discomfort out of politeness, so they simply cannot pretend. If they feel uncomfortable, they will walk away, freeze, or give a specific sign. After 15,000 years alongside us, dogs have become the world's best specialists at reading human states through our scent and micro-movements. They notice everything from your breathing rhythm to the things you do not even perceive in yourself. When a dog leaves, they are reacting to something specific, such as a direct, prolonged gaze, which in their world is a language of dominance. While humans often stare to establish contact or show confidence, a dog sees it as a threat, especially if they are anxious or unfamiliar with you. Leaning over a dog to look them in the face is a common way to get bitten, because you are essentially saying, "I am threatening you," in their language. Instead, try looking slightly away and turning your body to the side, rather than facing them head-on. Another common mistake is reaching over their head to pet them, which feels like pressure and control rather than affection. Most dogs tolerate this from owners they trust, but a stranger's hand from above can cause a dog to freeze in stress. The correct way is to offer your hand palm up, below their muzzle toward the chest, allowing them to choose the contact. That same dog who was walking away just moments ago will often reach out to you if you simply remove that pressure. We must also consider their incredible senses, as a dog's hearing reaches 65,000 Hz, allowing them to hear a range that does not exist for us. Sharp laughter, clapping, or shouting across a room might seem like normal background noise to you, but for a dog, it is an intense and uncomfortable flash of sound. High-pitched voices used during play can actually cross a dog's limit of intensity, leading them to silently walk away when no one notices their distress. Their sense of smell is even more profound, with 300 million olfactory receptors compared to our 6 million. What you perceive as a light scent of perfume is a tidal wave for them, and the smell of alcohol is often perceived as heavy and alarming. Strong scents like citrus, vinegar, or essential oils like tea tree and eucalyptus can trigger anxiety and a desire to escape. Even the scent of another animal you petted an hour ago is processed by them as vital information that they must analyze. Perhaps the most uncomfortable truth is that dogs react to your internal state, literally smelling the adrenaline and cortisol you release when you are anxious. They notice the changes in your heart rate, breathing, and physical tension that you might not even realize you are projecting. A person pretending to be calm creates a dissonance that a dog picks up on immediately, as they always believe the body over the words. This is why people who loudly rush toward a dog to hug them often get a negative reaction, while the person sitting quietly nearby is eventually chosen as a companion. Forcing contact by holding a dog back or demanding they meet a guest destroys the very possibility of trust. When a dog's no is repeatedly ignored, they may eventually stop giving warning signals altogether and resort to biting immediately. This is not true aggression, but rather a form of learned helplessness created by humans who failed to listen. Every movement you make is information that a dog's nervous system processes as a potential threat before they even think about it. Someone who moves slowly and predictably is seen as safe, whereas sudden movements create constant micro-stress, even if you are smiling. This is precisely why children often frighten dogs. Their unpredictability makes it impossible for a dog to relax, which becomes exhausting. Your voice also carries weight, not in the volume, but in the underlying tension or irritation that dogs hear through the words. High-pitched excitement can signal chaos, while a steady, slightly lower tone is the most effective for building a sense of security. Even fear is sensed literally through your breath and posture, signaling to the dog that there is something dangerous in the environment. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy where your fear triggers their reaction, which in turn increases your fear in a continuous cycle. To connect with a dog, you must respect their protocol, which involves letting them sniff and approach from the side rather than head-on. Invading their space without permission is a peak of rudeness in their language, similar to a stranger touching your face without a word. If you give them time and do not rush the process, the dog will eventually decide to seek you out on their own terms. Consider the story of a man who adopted a 3-year-old shelter dog that was so fearful it would not come near him for weeks. Following a trainer's advice to do nothing, he simply sat nearby reading books, speaking calmly but never demanding her attention. He existed beside her without any expectations, never looking directly at her, and just providing a calm, stable presence. On the 21st day, the dog finally came to him and lay at his feet because he had changed himself to provide the safety she needed to choose him. In the end, a dog does not push you away out of spite or malice, but responds to your signals with total honesty.
Their departure is simply feedback, telling you that things are too loud, too high pressure, or simply not safe enough for them yet. This is not a final judgment, but rather a form of communication that allows you to adjust your own behavior. You can change the dynamic by slowing down your movements, evening out your breath, and giving them the space they require. That same dog who walked away will eventually return to sit by your side and rest their head on your knee. They will let out a deep sigh, the kind that only happens when they finally feel they no longer need to be on guard. This is what they wanted from the very beginning of your interaction, looking for a partner they can trust. They were simply waiting for the moment you finally learn to speak their silent language without any words at all.